The system is rotten. And when you go to the police station to report, you report kunkunzi yetsotsi.
Welcome back to Heads Up SA, where we unpack South Africa's politics with no filters. If you are new here, don't forget to hit subscribe and stay informed. After the ANC's special NEC on local government, Secretary General Mbalula presented what he calls the war plan. It's a strategy meant to rescue failing municipalities, but what stood out most is that Mbalula now echoes the words of General Mkhwanazi. General Mkhwanazi had warned that mafias and cartels are working hand in hand with corrupt police and government officials, and now Mbalula openly admits the system is compromised.
These cartels and mafias work even within the system of the state of law enforcement. They work with the police who are corrupt, and then because they benefit out of that.
He acknowledged that corruption inside the ANC itself, among police officers and within the tender system, lies at the heart of service delivery collapse. Instead of serving the people, some leaders are collaborating with the very criminal networks Mkhwanazi spoke about.
And then when you go to the police station to report, you report kunkunzi yetsotsi. You must be careful of that. It was here. And then the poor person, once you leave the police station, you are dead. You leave your kids.
Mbalula recalled his own time as Minister of Transport when government services were sabotaged to keep corrupt contracts flowing. He confirmed that many communities already know service delivery is being crippled by insiders who profit from the chaos.
Sabotaging infrastructure is corruption. I was in transport. People cut the cables because they want to create demand. Because if I've got a company that supply cables to Prasa, and all of a sudden everything is smooth, the trains are running, and the tender is over, I'm going to create demand and then cut the cable so that I can also come back and properly. And I will be doing that conniving with others in the system to get the tender. That's corruption.
And the cost of exposing this corruption is deadly. Whistleblowers risk their lives, journalists and officials are bribed to stay quiet, and communities are left in the dark, literally and figuratively. Still, Mbalula pointed to commissions like the Madlanga one as proof that action is being taken, but he stressed the urgent need to protect whistleblowers if South Africa is serious about fighting back.
Protect citizens, we are going to win against these criminals and the mafias and the cartels. The developments we see in our country around commissions, may it be Mkhwanazi or around it, and all of that, must encourage us to not to sweep criminality under the carpet. We must clean. And people who are good citizens have come to the fore and reported, but at the end of the day, they get killed by criminals. They are not protected.
Mbalula's admission is clear. The ANC, corrupt police, tender officials and criminal cartels are destroying service delivery in this country. The big question now is, can the so-called war plan really defeat the system when the rot runs so deep? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Heads Up SA, your home for unfiltered political updates. Keep your heads up, SA.
Look, mafias must be taken on by communities and government, and ANC structures must participate in that. Okay? And then law enforcement must be an integral part of it. These cartels and mafias work even within the system of the state of law enforcement. They work with the police who are corrupt, and then because they benefit out of that. Sabotaging infrastructure is corruption. I was in transport. People cut the cables because they want to create demand. Because if I've got a company that supply cables to Prasa, and all of a sudden everything is smooth, the trains are running, and the tender is over, I'm going to create demand and then cut the cable so that I can also come back and properly. And I will be doing that conniving with others in the system to get the tender. That's corruption. So it can only work by way of protecting the whistleblowers because they are good citizens in the state who are blowing the whistle, but they are not protected. So as we deal with mafia cartels, we must also deal with legislation to protect whistleblowers. It's very important. And that must be fast-tracked because we have asked our people to work with us in the system to do away with these mafias. They do so, they get killed. Look at Tembisa. What happened? We're dealing with exactly the example I'm talking about today, that whistleblowers, at the end of the day, they have actually been killed and so on. Criminals are brazen. People get accused for bribing about this and that. They bribe even journalists. Uyowela journalist ephenyayo ufuna uyibribe asiyibone ibribe. And then when we see that bribe, and then they run a show on TV. No, I didn't bribe anybody. A show on television. No, uh, yeah, no. These people must be investigated. When you see the hawks surrounding a municipality, you must be hopeful that somebody is going to account and will be arrested because somebody have blown the whistle from inside. So we must have our laws that protect citizens. We are going to win against these criminals and the mafias and the cartels. The developments we see in our country around commissions, may it be Mkhwanazi or around it, and all of that, must encourage us to not to sweep criminality under the carpet. We must clean. And people who are good citizens have come to the fore and reported, but at the end of the day, they get killed by criminals. They are not protected. And then when you go to the police station to report, it no, you must be careful of that. It was here. And then the poor person, once you leave the police station, you are dead. You leave your kids. We must then create a safe line. Criminals must be reported. And then so that we are safe and all of that in terms of the work we're doing. IOL, I don't know what you asked. What did you ask? The system is rotten in terms of tenders. And I know it's going to be a buzzword that Mbalula says ANC members are not corrupt. ANC is not a corrupt vehicle. I'm saying that. The fact that there is an individual who get arrested and is corrupt among the deployees of the ANC, the system must deal with that person. Even more than the Constitution of the Republic. And we're still going to be strict because ANC members are still saying, no, this step aside is insufficient. It's insufficient because you only step aside when you are arrested. You will remember where we come from, where we said once you are arrested is presumption of innocence. South Africans said that is not enough. And then we move a step further. We said once you are arrested, you step aside. We are now on step aside. They say that is also not enough. If you are on the side of the wrongdoing and all of that, there must be some other steps that are taken. Now, there's no decision of the ANC now that reviews the step aside where we stand today. But members of the ANC are edgy and society is edgy around that particular point. The ANC will review that as we go to the General Council and beyond. When I'm saying that, we are even way ahead of the Constitution, because indeed the Constitution says you are presumed innocent until proven otherwise, right? The ANC says even before you are judged, you must step aside from your positions. Even if you don't have a position, just participating as a member of the ANC, you are arrested. You are debarred from participating in the activities of the organization. It's not just linked to a position. It's not linked. If I happen to be an ordinary member now, and that is it. And now there are people who are corrupt in the system of public service, and they are not ANC members, and they get arrested every day. You go to institutions of the state and SOEs, there are people who are corrupt there in the tendering system and everything and so on. They do wrong things there. But everything that happens in the state today is inextricably linked to the party. If some person has stolen money in a particular department, kutiwa this ANC. So what happens in government? In government today, in terms of corruption, is inextricably linked to us. That somebody goes, it is alleged, bribed a journalist, ANC. Simazela pitina lomdu bribe by journalist. Magabanjwe lomdu, I mean, this is what you journalists are showing us. Society is shocked. An element of brazenness and corruption in our society must be extricated once and for all by means of making examples about people who want to be made examples. That's what is important. As the party is concerned, as the ANC, we will act.